Hello, Jerry Martin. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Joe. Life's been okay. Keeping our victims happy. I'm answering a Yeah, no review today. I'm answering a question on Facebook about why plastic isn't food safe. We'll actually go over that in a minute. Yeah, I gotta post a new one to that. I the I have an external hard drive that I have all the videos on, and that external hard drive is here somewhere. I've got like 4 videos on that. So I gotta find that hard drive. And this keeps hitting the desk. So we're gonna take that off. Yeah. My sister is stalking me on my YouTube now. Ooh. Hi, kitty. Oh, you dared to come out, huh? You're ballsy, aren't you? One of the reasons we're having a short stream today is that the guys are here putting in the new multi-head mini split system. And yeah, the cats they are not friendly with visitors. They go in the third bedroom and they hide. And Noel caught a glimpse of them when they got here this morning, and he just gone. He's in the third bedroom hiding underneath the bed. Ender hasn't figured out someone's here yet, but he's suspicious. So he sits here and he stares very quietly at the door, like, do I run? But I'm curious. As soon as one of them comes in the house, he's going to take off like a lightning bolt. Hello, Francis. CR6SE fails to auto level. It just stops at one point and says it's heating. Ooh. What would cause it to do that? Um, I don't know enough about that machine to know what would cause that. I would start by diagnosing the sensors. So, making sure the end stop switches work and are plugged in. See if after you turn the printer on, but don't tell it to do anything. If you look inside of the hot end enclosure while you take your finger, obviously when it's cold, if you take your finger and you push on the nozzle on the hot end, you should see a blue light up each time you do that inside the hot end enclosure. That'll confirm that the strain gauge is working. Um, 'Cause, 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 SDGTR4. How are you doing today? Ooh. Yeah, they don't like new people. Or they're afraid of new people. He's such a good boy. He's like, you didn't give me my morning scruffs today. Give me my morning scruffs. Hello, Donald. Go ahead. Yeah, your bed's gone because you kicked it off the table again. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. I gotta put like an extension on the table here to secure their little bed down. Because what happens sometimes is if I don't notice, well, Noel doesn't care, but he'll crawl down my arm to get to the bed. But if I don't realize he's up there fast enough, he'll jump. And when he jumps, he hits the bed and right off the end of the table with the bed and all. The look on his face when he slides off the table. Huh. No, it wouldn't. Unless the sensor itself is failing. That's why I say when it's cold, push on that nozzle, push up on it, and you should see a little blue LED blink on and off each time you touch it. See if that's working. My only guess is the strain gauge failed. If you manually tell then the other thing you do is manually instruct the hot end and the heat bed to heat up. See if they actually heat up at all. If they heat up when you tell them manually to heat up, then we know that the heat bed's okay. And the hot end is okay. My next guess would be either motherboard issue or strain gauge issue. Of course, check all the connections. Hi, baby. How you doing? Yeah? You good boy. Yes, you are. Make sure all the wire LED works. Okay, so it is communicating at least. Then make sure the connections inside the brain box are all there. Make sure they're all connected. But yeah, it heats up properly. Okay. You good boy. Come on, don't claw me. Mmm. That's my best guess is check for loose wires. I mean, he said it heats up, so we know the heaters are working. The blue light blinks, so the strain gauge is actually doing something. My next guess would be bad connection somewhere or some corrupted firmware. So try make sure all the physical connections are connected and intact. What food deals do we get? We got some 80% lean ground beef for $1.99 a pound, so we grabbed a bunch of that. We got butter for $2 a pound, so we grabbed every one they have. That's really cheap for butter. What else? Got some real nice bread on clearance, but half of it went bad before we could eat it. I hate that, man. Get some real nice bread, but then like within 3 or 4 days it goes moldy. What else did we get? I get things on sale. I Triangle Grocery, Smith's, Walmart never has anything on sale. I know, they're big enough where they don't have to give you sales. I did find out. I did confirm that what's it called? El Super is the store I want to go to for discount foods. The only problem is it's on the southwest side of Albuquerque, so it's right at the limit of my range. Like, I should be able to get there, if I drive straight there and straight back with no detours. In theory, I should be able to get there. So, but I have to plan an entire day just for that trip. I can't take the pickup truck or the minivan because then I'm paying for gasoline, and unless I buy a lot of food, which I probably can't do, the gasoline cost will eat into the savings cost on the food. So it's only practical if I can use the electric car. So I do want to check out that store. What else? We got some steaks for $4.99 a pound. Michelle wanted steak and scallops and shrimp for her birthday. Her birthday was this past Saturday, so we made a nice big, surf and turf meal for her. Yeah, if you change the firmware and you're still getting it, then it has to be hardware. Hey, Dirty Goblin, they said happy birthday. I kind of beat myself up for dealing with this cough for the last year. I've been avoiding going to the doctor because of the COVID thing. So I finally get vaccinated. I was like, okay, let's make an appointment with the doctor. And he does everything over the phone. So I could have called the doctor a year ago. What are you gonna do? But he got me a powder and. Shall we talk to a scammer? Hello?
Calls pertaining to your electric bill. You are qualified to get a $50 reward and 30% discount on your electric bill. Please press 1 now to get your reward. Thanks for holding on the line. This is Harry Johnson. How are you today?
Pretty good. Do Indians taste spicy? He didn't even hang around. Oh, how lame. He just hung up. Come on, man. I need some content here. Give me a little banter. Oh, man. They're not even using people with an accent. They're not even trying. I mean, sad and disgusting. Eat them. Eat them. Not too bad. We just took another trailer load of crap, and I've got these. If you guys know what an IBC tote is, I'll show you. There we go. That is not. There we go. So if you guys have ever seen these things, these IBC totes, they're 275-gallon totes for chemicals, water, whatever. I actually have 2 that are food safe. They came food safe, and they just wash them out. So eventually, when I get around to figuring out how to put gutters on my carports, the metal structures I got put up outside, I'll capture that water and be able to use that water. But then I also found somebody reasonable price selling just the metal cages. So just this metal cage surrounding the tote. So no tote, just the cage. And they are wonderfully handy for anything. So I got 3 of them out front. And what I do is I put my cardboard boxes in them. So small, medium, and large. And when I have them filled, I post an ad on Facebook on Marketplace saying free boxes and next door. And usually somebody will reply within a day or half a day saying they'd love to come get the boxes, and they come and they pick whatever boxes they want. And it helps me a lot in getting rid of the boxes because I get so many boxes. Oh my God. I have a pile of boxes right here. Like it's 4 foot tall. So later on today, we're going to haul them all off outside and sort them into the small, medium, and large totes. And I'm getting the mini split system installed. It was supposed to be installed Monday, Tuesday, but they got delayed a day, so that's why they're doing it Tuesday, Wednesday. So they're out back right now doing it. So that is there's one right here, There's one in my bedroom, and there's one in Michelle's bedroom. And they're 9K BTU units, so 27K total. And because I'm getting them installed on the back wall, I'm keeping the original 12K BTU unit. So I will have a total capacity of 39,000 BTUs, which is central HVAC class. So I will be able to fully cool and heat this house with just the mini splits. And so in the wintertime, I'll be pure electric heat. The wood pellet stove turns out to be quite a bit more expensive to run than I anticipated, which really sucks, seeing as I spent $2,000 on it. I'm either going to sell it to recoup my costs, or after I fix the auger, I'm thinking about putting it on the patio out back, because I'm going to semi-enclose that patio. And if I put the wood stove out back, I can heat that patio in the wintertime and the end of the wintertime, which will extend the number of months I can use that patio out back. So I'll only be, I'll only not be able to use the patio for like December, January. Or like half December, January, and half February. But I'll be able to extend my usage through November, maybe December, and start using it in March. Because I found, I've already told you guys before, I found out that we have what's called time of use power available here as an option. So that brings my average power usage from 18.3 cents a kilowatt to 14 cents a kilowatt. And I can game that a little bit to save even more money, because it's actually 6.2 cents during off-peak, which is actually 11.2 cents. And it's 15 cents on peak, which is actually 20 cents per kilowatt on peak, because the fees and surcharges on our bill come to about 5 cents per kilowatt. So whatever the advertised rate is, add 5 cents per kilowatt, at least at my level of power usage. So for example, we don't turn on the water heater until 10:30 at night. Although now that we're on summertime, the only off-peak time is 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. So any other part of the day, I could turn the water heater on. Hey, WFO Rider. And then the electric car is, I could actually program the electric car when to turn on. So like if I plug in my car right now, it won't charge. And as soon as 10:30 comes around, it starts charging. So the car only charges when it's 11 cents a kilowatt. And same thing with other big ticket items. I try to do it like I try to run the dryer only at night, when we can use the heat to actually supplement the heat of the house. So not only are we using the dryer on off-peak, but we are capturing that heat and using it instead of just pumping it outside. Eventually, I'm going to build a big filter system, like, using regular full-size filters. Question from Jennifer Miller. Do you need a heated bed for PLA filament? The technical answer is no. The preferred answer is yes. Technically, you can print PLA on a fake tack, build tack type surface without... yeah, the kitty's getting scared. He heard somebody over the door. Technically, if you're using a fake tack, build tack type surface, you do, or tape, for example, you do not need heat to print PLA. However, it's substantially easier to print with heat. So, do you need it? No. Would you prefer to have it? Yes. Now, if you're printing on something like glass or PEI or silicon dioxide print surface, you do need heat. They will not work without heat. Hey, WFO Rider. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We just got to lose some weight. We got to kick butt and lose some weight. So I found out that each of the heads is 9,000 BTU. So if I only turn on one, I'm only using 9,000 BTUs of power. So very efficient. Like, for example, the head in my room, I'll almost never have that turned on because I don't need it. So we'll have an 18K BTU multi-split system, and it's 22 SEER. So it probably uses less power at 18K than that one does at 12. And then Michelle can adjust the temperature in her room independently to be whatever she wants. So we can use this one to primarily cool the house, and then if she gets warm, she can kick hers on a little longer if she wants it. And especially for heat, because now she'll have a direct, substantial heat source in her room. Hello, Derek. It's going pretty good. Keeping our victims happy. And when we have a particularly cold day, I can kick on mine, so 27,000 BTUs. And then when we have one of those freak cold days, I can kick on the old unit. And then we'll have 39,000 BTUs of heat. Of course, if it drops into the negative degrees, negative Fahrenheit, not negative Celsius, heat pumps stop working properly because it's too cold. So then we have the kerosene as a backup. But we usually only get, 2 or 3 days like that total in the wintertime. I went to, I got almost all the components to build my drive-in trailer. So I have a little trailer out back. I ran over the hitch end, so I got to find somebody who can solder or weld it for me because I broke it. But I got a couch. It's a 2-seat recliner with a center console, so it's got cup holders. It's pretty nice. We can't use the recline function because we're too heavy, but it's a nice couch. And I also got the RV jacks, the scissor jacks, so that when we park at a drive-in, we can lower the jacks to stabilize the trailer. And because otherwise all of our weight's going to be on the tongue of the car, and that's not good for the hitch. And no enclosure or anything for it yet. It should be low enough to the ground that she should be able to climb up onto it if I have a grab pole for her. So I'll install a grab pole so she can climb up onto the trailer and sit on the couch. Should be. Yeah, we should be totally good now. I went to go get some 4x4s because I got to put 6-foot 4x4s down on top of the trailer to lay the couch on. Yeah, I went to get 6 4x4 posts, $150. I was like, no thanks. I'd rather just not have it than pay that much for a 4x4. They're like $30 a piece for 4x4 posts. Talk about gouging. Jesus. Matter of fact, I wanted to check. Even Home Depot is $16 a piece, which is still an insane price. So I wanted to see how much 2x4s are, because 2x4s will give you about a 4x4. Yeah, that's not expensive. That's ludicrous. I'm not paying that much for wood. Jesus. A basic 2x4 is $8. That's insane. That should be $2.30. What the hell? I just won't buy lumber. I won't do it. I'm not paying that much for a 2x4. Over my dead body. They can keep their goddamn lumber. Wow. I've been meaning to check for some used stuff. That's just insane, though. I mean, that's just crazy. Clovis is too far away. The stream title should be correct. I updated it. Yeah, stream title is live heat bed chat Q&A session. And the picture has been updated as well. This time I made sure I updated everything. Last week was the Robo CNC. No problem, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Yeah, the articulated stuff was fun. No, actually, Des Logos, that's not the case. There's actually a glut of wood in the pipeline. What it is okay, this is really weird, but I'm surprised they're getting away with it. I guess because of COVID, they're getting away with it. But once COVID starts to wind down, they're going to have a tough time getting past the regulators. What's happening is there's three... Exactly. Supply is unaffected, Francis. There are basically... It's not this simple, but I'm going to simplify it. There's basically three stages for getting lumber. You have the lumber yards. That's the mills and the loggers. Then you have the middlemen that buy from the loggers, maybe process, and then sell to retailers, such as Home Depot and stuff. Yeah, I tried to make it different from 2 weeks ago when I got basically, whenever I don't have a printer to build, we're gonna have a heat bed. You know how you have a fireside chat? Well, we're gonna call it heat bed chat because our heat beds are kind of like our fires, and Q&A sessions. So that's what I'm gonna call it, heat bed chat session. Well, the loggers aren't making any more money, and the retailers are just passing on the increased cost. So this middleman right here, he's hoarding all the lumber and piecemealing it out so they can charge more for it. So everybody's getting raped by this middleman guy. And, when the regulators catch up to him, I hope they fry his ass. Because that's BS. That's total BS for wood to cost that much. Yeah, the truckers have also come out and said that they're surprised that the lumber prices are so high because the depots are completely full, and it's because they're hoarding the wood, and then they're trickling the release of the wood slowly to artificially increase the price of it, and they're blaming it on COVID. So it's a artificial supply and demand problem. Oh, too late here. Yeah, I'm going to get a video on Life of Nerys this week. As far as wood, I won't pay that price. No thanks. I have no interest in paying at that price. That's 2x3. Let's see. I'm seeing if there's any used lumber available. Just, But you know what I probably should do is start grabbing some pallets and tearing them apart. Pallets are usually made of oak. Yeah, you're not kidding. It's insane. We're talking about 300 to 500% increase in price. That means, a $40,000 job is now $150,000. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Holy shit, that'll work. There's a guy who has a 7x7 by 12-foot beam for $100. I can cut that in half and get the two beams I need. That's a big piece of wood. Jesus. Building a drive-in trailer. So the local town of Tijeras, up in the mountains here between us and Albuquerque, that local township opened up a drive-in. They built themselves a little drive-in theater. So, for example, this Saturday, we're going to see Star Wars: The Return of Skywalker. And then the 22nd, at the end of May, we're going to see Grease. And it's older movies, but who cares? So I got a couch, and I'm going to put that couch on a trailer. And then what I'll do is when I get to the drive-in, instead of pulling into the spot, I'll pull in backwards. So the trailer faces the screen. And then we'll get out, we'll sit on the couch and watch the movie. What, they're trying to inflate the price of chicken? Chicken's the last affordable piece of meat we can buy. So I need some lumber to bolt down to the trailer to create a platform for the couch to sit on, because the couch is wider than the trailer. So you can't have the edges of the couch hanging off because they'll bend. And especially since I'm using it's a recliner couch. So yeah, shortage my ass. I can get some railroad ties for 20 bucks. That's strong enough. But even that's a lot of money. Wow, they're not even, looks like they're not even giving away free pallets anymore. They're starting to try to sell the pallets. I guess wood is becoming that valuable. Here's some $10 railroad ties. I might have to grab some railroad ties and use those. I'm worried about it being heavy, though. That's insane, they're charging that much for lumber. That's just crazy. Yeah, we started a little early today. The guys are here working on the mini split system today, so it's going to be a short stream. Just, a few hours. Because I'll have to... if they need me, I'll have to go out and help them. And when they get close to being finished, I got to run to the bank and get the rest of the money for them, so I can pay them. Expensive, $4,200, but it'll be cheaper in the long run. There are 2 problems with the wood stove. Well, 3 problems actually. 1, maintenance is annoying as hell. 2, the pellets aren't as cheap as I thought. I use more of them than I thought. It's about what I thought. It comes to about $170 a month to heat the house with pellets. Oh, jeez. That's not good. But, so it's about $170 a month to heat with pellet. Well, because of time of use power, it's about $140 a month to heat with electric. With mini split, with heat pumps. With resistance heaters, it's like $250 a month. But with heat pumps, it's about $140 a month. So it's cheaper, $30 a month cheaper than the pellets. Now, there are other advantages as well in costs. So the pellets, I got to go out and get bags of pellets every day to fill up the heater. I have to turn the heater off, let it cool down, and vacuum out the ashes every single day. And then the real kick in the balls happened. I found out that my insurance will cost $500 a year more if I use a wood stove. Oh, because of the time difference. I'll try to do that then. I'll try to start at 10 o'clock from now on. So that adds an extra $100 a month to the cost of using the pellet stove. So instead of being $170 a month, it's $270 a month because I have to amortize the increased cost of insurance. No problem. Isn't that Amazon Shopper app amazing? For anybody who doesn't know already, I make nothing from this. There's no affiliate link, nothing like that. Of course, if you sign up for Fetch through this Thursday, I get $3. Link is down below. But there's another there's another app called Amazon Shopper Panel. Looks like this. It's from Amazon. It's legit. It's not a scam or anything. But you get this Amazon Shopper Panel. It's available US only. So if you're not in the US, it's not going to work. But basically, you scan 10 receipts every month and you get $10. That's it. And sometimes they'll have surveys, which are always one single question, and you get 25 cents for each of those. Like this little skanky little troll goblin over here got 7 of them in 1 month. So she got an extra $1.75. Yeah, I got 4 more receipts to scan to get my $10. And what it is you scan 10 receipts, and on the first day of the next month, you get $10. So it's literally $120 a year in free cash from Amazon. You get it as an Amazon gift card, so it just gets added to your gift card balance on Amazon, which, let's be honest, is the same as cash. I heard Portugal's a pretty nice place to live. Now, whether they'll... probably GDPR rules would prevent them from doing it in Europe. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Are both cats out here? I wouldn't think so. Michelle's buying stuff on Amazon with her money that she gets. She already got herself some lip gloss stuff. She got a can of Death Water. And she got herself some Spirited Away socks.
And I got myself a mask.
And she got herself a Siamese cat mask, which she really likes. It's really cool looking. And, but yeah, it's free money. I mean, she can't argue with free money. And then, of course, Fetch works out really well for me in particular because my my Amazon purchases, you know, my review program purchases that I do, those also count, even though they're single items and $0. So I get 25 points for each of those. So I typically get, you know, 400 or 500 points a week from that alone. And with that program, every 1,000 points is $1. So I've already gotten, I mean, Jesus, how much have I gotten from that program? Yeah, I got 13,000 points right now. And does it tell me? There should be a way for me to see how many points I've gotten in total. I thought there was a way to... I thought it showed me my total points. Yeah, okay. So in 2020, I've got 42,000 points, which is $42. And in 2021, so far, I've gotten 57,000 points, which is $57. So I've gotten just about $100. I think I got more than that because I don't think that's counting the bonuses I get when you guys sign up and I get a bonus. I don't think it's counting that. Yeah, I've gotten 81,000 points from referrals. So that's $180 that I've gotten from Fetch since I signed up for them. I might. Etsy has been doing some weird things lately that are very anti-consumer, and I don't like them. So I might look for an alternative to Etsy. But I also know one of the problems that I have is, what do you call it? Procrastination. I have a pretty big problem with procrastination, and you can't procrastinate when you're selling people stuff on stuff like things like Etsy. So I have to make sure the product is done and ready so that when an order comes in, I can ship it immediately. I think I have enough to do the little toilet paper necklaces. I made some 3D printed necklaces that are kind of cute. So I might put those up again and see how it goes. But, oh, Fetch. What I do is whatever money I get from these programs, you know, Amazon Shopper Panel, Fetch, Field Agent, Ibotta, etc. Because I don't have a printer to do. I do have one printer out back. I have that new, the retail release Kaiwu printer that we're going to do. We're probably going to do that next week. And this week got a little squirrely because they came out to do they're supposed to do the mini split Monday, Tuesday, but they got delayed a day, so now they're doing it Tuesday, Wednesday. So in the next couple of hours, I'm going to have to stop and go to the bank and get the money to pay them. I don't keep money in the house ever, just because, you know, that's how it gets stolen. I guess I don't have to worry about that now, but that's a force of habit. Yes, Amazon Shopper Panel. It is an app. I get nothing from it when you guys sign up. I do get a reward if you guys use my link for Fetch, but I get nothing if you sign up for the Amazon shopper panel right there. You sign up for that and you get $10 a month. Now, when you sign up, it might say you're on a waiting list. Just go ahead and add yourself to the waiting list. And usually within a week, they'll let you in. Although I created a third account, which is probably against the rules. I created a third account to sign up for. Oh, by the way, talk about suckage. I lost out on $900 because I had 1,600 Dogecoin and I sold it when it spiked up in price, expecting it to drop back down again, and now it's at 60 cents. It's like, come on, give me a break. um, light speed. The light speed for now. Oh, okay. So yeah, whatever. You can never. Yeah, well, no. If you got right in, that means you already got a notification to join, and you just never clicked on it, because you're supposed to get an email inviting you to join the program, but nobody ever gets the email. So at some point, their system invited you, and on Robinhood. Although now I found out Webull will allow you to do Dogecoin. But yeah, that's $900 lost. But what are you gonna do? That was weird. I heard a noise. You can't predict that kind of stuff. I made a profit. I made $100 profit, so I can't complain. But I want the $900 profit. So now I have I think I have like 300. Yeah, I have 450 Dogecoin. So if it does something stupid like Bitcoin, I'll have some money. Well, the price is spiking nicely, so if you've lost it for a while, that means you bought it when it was dirt cheap. What the fuck?
They're doing stuff outside.
I know, but it sounds like it's coming from the front. So, yeah, there's if you get an invitation to join the Amazon shopper panel, you're not going to get the invitation. So if you log in and Noel's running the other way, if you get in right away, that's what happened. You already got invited, but you just never got notified. Same with me. When I logged in, I got in right away. When she logged in, she had to wait a week. Oh wow. Wow. Good job, dude. So I signed up on this phone using a third account. I created a brand new account, but it's still not letting me in. So I'm guessing they're seeing that is a brand new account with no sales and just not letting it in. So I tried. But anyway, I use all the money I make from these programs to buy cat food. So I have lots and lots and lots of cat food. I have almost a year. So I have about a year's supply of cat food. Now I got to build up a year's supply of cat litter. And I'll be set. I'll have a year's supply of everything. My goal is to always have 1 year. And thank you very much for that, Shadung. My goal is to always have 1 year of everything as best I can. Safe moon to lose it all. Well, I was trying to play that game of buy the dip. It goes up, sell it, goes down, buy it, goes up, sell it. But I always missed it. So I was like, something, just buy it low and then just let it sit, because I'm just not. I don't have the time to sit here and watch this thing go up and down and buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell for micro increases, and I don't have the money for it. Not the money, the time. I don't have the time to sit there and do that. And of course, I always do it wrong. What happened is, I bought it at like 10 cents, sold it at like 25 cents, figuring it's going to go back down to 10 again, and no, it just kept going up. So now, I bought like 450 of it, and I'm just going to sit on it. Even if it goes all the way down again, I only got $100 into it. Yeah. Yeah, well, you don't want to do day trading with regular stocks because you run into there's a clause you run into that can burn you bad. I forget what that's called. I forget what that clause is. But there's a rule in the IRS rules for trading that can really screw you over on taxes badly. Like there's one guy who did $6.5 million in trades, but he only made about $18,000 or something like that, because he would buy high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. He did day trading, and because of this rule, he got taxed both directions, even though he didn't make any money. So he ended up owing like $300,000 in taxes or something like that. It's just ouch. So you don't want to run into that rule, but apparently that doesn't apply to Dogecoin, since it's not part of the regular stock market. So you can pretty much buy and sell that with impunity, except for your losses, of course. Yeah, the stock market wouldn't be the stock market if everybody could predict it. Day trading is the issue, but what's it called? I'll know the naming. I don't remember what the rule is. What? $80 a day? No, stockbroker is just, you broker stocks. There's a rule that basically the reason they created this rule is for people who are avoiding taxes. So what they'll do is when the price of a stock goes down, instead of buying it, they'll sell it, take a loss, not owe any taxes, and then after the tax year is over, they'll buy the stocks again at that low price. Basically, they're avoiding getting taxed on the stocks, and there's a rule in place to prevent that from working and to penalize you for doing it. And consumer day traders, citizens like you and I, can accidentally get caught up in that rule. I'm trying to find the name of it. There's something it's called. No, that's shorting. That's totally different. Okay, it's called the wash sale rule. If you want to look it up, it's called the wash sale rule. Very, very dangerous. Could get you in a lot of tax trouble if you're not careful. People like you and I doing a couple $100, that's not going to matter. But people who are doing, a few $1,000s a day, but they're not actually making any money. So what happens is, usually if you buy $1 million in stocks and you sell, $980,000 in stocks, you only made $20,000. I'm sorry, backwards. But because of the wash sale rule, they charge you on the sale and the buy as if it was all profit. So you end up owing more taxes than you actually made in money. It's to stop people from gaming the tax system to avoid taxes on their stocks. But day traders can accidentally get caught up by that rule. And it could be very, very punishing. So it's the wash sale rule. But if you're not a day trader, meaning you have less than $25,000 in stocks, that's never going to apply to you. All kinds of weird stuff. The GameStop issue was a little bit different. That was what's called shorting. That's where I bet the stock is going to be cheaper. So let's say, for example, I have stock for today's 3D print, all right, and it's $10 a share. You have a sneaking suspicion that that stock price is going to go down. So what you do is you buy 10 shares of today's 3D print, so $100. But you don't buy it. You borrow it. You borrow my 10 shares of today's 3D print stock. And then you immediately sell it to someone else for $10 a share. So you got $100 cash now, even though you didn't actually pay out anything at all. So you've basically borrowed $100 in cash, but you still owe me 10 shares plus interest of today's 3D print. The price goes down to $5 a share. You now buy 10 shares at $5 a share for $50, and then you give me my 10 shares back. Well, you just made $50 minus the small interest payment, because you borrowed my 10 shares, sold them for $100. The price dropped to $5, which is now $50 for 10 shares. You then buy those 10 shares back, and you give me back the 10 shares you borrowed from me. You just made $50. That's shorting, very simplified. Now, the problem with GameStop is the hedge funds in the markets cheated. They shorted more shares of GameStop stock than existed. Basically, they created ghost shares of stock. It'd be like you borrowing 10 shares to sell from me, and you sell those 10 shares twice. But you only borrowed 10. So you're kind of cheating on the ledger books. Which mains AC supply bed do you recommend? I think the best is Canova. I think that's the name, Canovo. I think they're one of the more trusted brands out there. The G-Create uses them. So it's a dedicated, and you get a controller that's separate, and so that was from Mach 1 Board, who asked about the mains AC supply bed. And then Artur asked, Ender 3 Pro, redone with glass bed, printed normal PLA and TLA, no issues. PLA badly squishes up. You're getting poor adhesion to the bed. So you're going to want the heat bed at least 65 centigrade, but you need to increase the temperature of the hot end. PLA Plus needs a higher temperature than regular PLA. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Canovo. Let me double check that. Yes, it's Canovo. Keenovo. I don't have any direct experience with them, but that's the company that G-Create uses, and I trust that company, so I'm going to trust that that's a good brand. Now, of course, you can buy silicone heated beds anywhere. Like here's on Amazon, there's a 510 by 510. That's for a CR10S5. 500 by 500 millimeter heat bed. $129. But that's no controller. You still need the temperature controller. I'm pretty sure that's no controller. Oh, no, that includes controller. Well, that's not bad. Start at 220. Your glass might not be clean. Glass can be a very finicky beast. I don't use alcohol. I don't use acetone. I don't use anything like that. I literally take the glass bed to my kitchen sink, and I use scorching hot water and Dawn soap. Scrub that booger down, rinse it off with scorching hot water, let it air dry, and then try printing on it again. Let's see here. That's 400 by 400. Here's 310 by 310, but that does not include a controller. The problem with glass cleaner is that it can sometimes leave. Use a VPN. Just VPN out of New York. I'm at 75% CPU, so I might be dropping frames. Let me prop up the laptop again to help it with the cooling. Oh yeah, hot. I gotta take the cat bed is right here behind the laptop, and I realized that the cats have been leaving a tremendous amount of hair on the table between the laptop and the use somebody else's address. That's bullshit. New York's being stupid. Here's a $37 flexible heat bed. On Amazon. So that's an example of what you'd be looking at, that kind of thing. This is a no-name brand, of course. This one looks like it doesn't use a controller. This would use a thermistor and an SSR plugged into your main board. Here's one from Kinovo, but it's almost twice the price. I'm not sure it's worth it at twice the price. I'm actually going to eventually start using some of these flexible heating beds for a hot water heater. I got a brand new propane hot water heater, got it for free, and she had to switch over to natural gas. But I'm gonna take the pressure vessel outside of the from inside the hot water heater. I'm gonna get rid of the outer shell, and I'm gonna put 1500 watt 220 volt heating pads on the outside. The 3 of them will give me 4500 watts, which is the same as what my electric heater uses now. And then I'll put it back inside the insulation, and this way I'll be heating the tank from the outside instead of from the inside. So the heating elements will never be exposed to the heating elements will never be exposed to the hard water. And so I'll never have to worry about corrosion or scaling. I mean, I'll have to clean out the tank once a year to get rid of the scaling in the tank, but I don't have to worry about elements frying anymore. So I may try doing that at some point. What I really want to do is put 4 heating pads on it. 2 1500 watt 220 volt pads, and then a couple of 12 volt pads, and then hook them to solar panels, so that during the day the solar panels will direct drive the heating pads. It'll never make the water hot enough for a shower, but any amount of heating will decrease how hard the mains pads have to work to heat the water up. So if the solar one can increase the temperature of the water by even like 40 degrees, that'll make a big difference in how much electricity I need to heat the water all the way up to 125. Why can't you order Wham Bam to the EU, 3DRCNC? And you don't have to get Creality stickers. You can get any stickers you want on Amazon. So you're in, where are you at? Are you in Germany or are you in Austria? Like, what's the Amazon page you go to? Just do a search for Ender 3 bed sticker or something like that on Amazon. It doesn't have to be the Creality one. It could be any of them. They're very cheap. They shouldn't be expensive at all. Hello, Yamaha 26. We're jumping between 45 and 70%. The frames look stable now. I don't see any jumping on my end. For CR10, 750 watts. I just gave you a... What country are you in? Because it might be the difference with what country you're in. But you should be able to get a heat pad. Oh yeah, Kenovo. That's about right. 70, 80 bucks for a Kenovo is about right. You can get the knockoffs for about 35, 40. 70 or 80 is about right for the Kenovo name brand. Those are the two links I provided. That first one is the knockoff brand for 37. The second one is the Kenovo brand for 70. Yeah, 120 volt, 750 watt. Comes with the thermistor and wires all ready to go. Netherlands, not bad. That's not a bad difference. So only $8 premium for being in Europe. That's not bad. Contact Wham Bam directly because there is no import costs from the US. Wham Bam is drop shipped from China, usually. Sometimes they have US stock, but it's usually drop shipped from China. So contact them about shipping to the Netherlands. It might not be as bad as you think. Yeah, the lack of texture is annoying. I like the original Creality stickers that have almost like a soft, fuzzy surface. They stick so well. Like what was originally on the Ender 2. You know, that original blue sticker that came with like the Ender 2 and the CR10s. That sticker was so good. I never had a problem with anything sticking to those surfaces. If you over squished, you had a problem removing it. But adhesion, not a problem. Now they're all using these PC surfaces that are smooth. And they work, but they don't last as long. And also, there are alternatives to Wham Bam. So there are a Chinese company making similar, flex plates to Wham Bam. They're not as good, but they work fine. I'm not building anything today. Getting the mini splits installed today. So we're just doing a Q&A session, just a chat, say hello. If you guys have any questions, answer them as best we can. Wanker. 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 Wanker.
No, we ate some. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That he hid because he heard the guy.
How many more minis are you getting? I'm getting a 27,000 BTU triple head mini split system. So I'll have a head here in the main room. I'll have a head in my bedroom and a head in Michelle's bedroom. So I'll basically have 90% of central heating and AC, which is really, really cool. Chiron and CR10S5. Well, they are slightly different. That question is from Yamaha 26. And the question about the minis was from Joseph Allman. So, the CR10S5 is a 555 printer, while the Chiron is a 444. So, 444 means 400 by 400 by 400. That's why we call CR10s 334s, because they're 300 by 300 by 400. The S5 is a 555. Now, the S5 is literally just a scaled up CR10. So everything's just lengthened. It could be a little finicky to use, but if you want 555 on a budget, because you can get one for $700 or $800, you can't beat it with a 10-foot stick. Now, you're going to probably want to do some upgrades to it over time because it's a 12-volt system. It's a wonky bed, but it does work. $4,200, and it's a Mirage Ventus Inverter 22. You never have to clean it. The only time I ever have to clean the original bed was when it starts getting fuzzies and dust on it from the room. Yeah, the original system I have is a single head, 12,000 BTU. That was only $900 installed. It's a Whirlpool. So, nice unit. The problem is it's simply not enough BTUs to heat the house. It's just not enough. I need significantly more BTUs to actually heat the house. So, that's what the bigger unit's for. So now if I turn on both, that one's going to be 220. If I turn on both, I'll have 39,000 BTUs. I'll never need that for cooling. I mean, even that 12,000 BTUs is enough for cooling if I can move the air around. What I need it for is for heat. Yes, heating and cooling. So the pellet stove is $170 a month because you have to pay for the pellets and the electricity to run the unit. That unit takes almost 400 watts per hour to run, so it's actually a lot more electricity than I thought. So it's $167.80, so I call it $170. But then you have to pay an extra $500 a year for house insurance because you have a wood stove. So by not having the wood stove, I save $500 a year. That's $100 a month for the 5 months I need heat. So that's $267 a month to have the pellet stove versus $140 a month to run the mini split. So that was an easy decision. Oh, back to Yamaha's question regarding Chiron or S5. I would say the S5 is going to give you slightly better print quality, while the Chiron is a better built machine. If you upgrade the hot end on the Chiron, it'll probably be equal to the S5, especially if you start using big fat nozzles like 1mm, 1.2mm nozzles. I just got myself some 1.2mm stock of 1.2mm nozzles. I have not tried to, well, let me finish that question first. So I would probably say in this specific case scenario, the Chiron's probably a better purchase. But you lose 100mm on each dimension because you're not going to get 555, you're getting 444. If you don't need the 555, get the Chiron. If you do need the 555, well, then you need the S5. Oh yeah, Prusa Slicer has typically been superior to Cura for print quality. It does a better job. That was from Joseph Allman. Mach 1 Board asked if have you tried upgrading a CR10 for peak, enclosure, steel bits, etc. No, I have not. It's been in the back of my mind as a project that I would like to do. How affordably can I build a 400-degree machine? Meaning something that can print high-temperature plastics like Peak and Ultim 1010. I would like to work on that. I print with a 1.2mm nozzle. I like 1.2 because the machine is capable of it, and it's a 3x multiplier of 0.4, so I can just 3x everything. It's just convenient, but a 1mm is just as good. Anything large. I mean, think about it. If you print a benchy at 300% scale, it's going to look the same scaled up as a regular benchy printed with a 0.4. Because the nozzle's 3 times the size, the model's 3 times the size. But anything I print large, like the giant sword I print, like here, this was printed with a, like this was printed with a 1.2mm nozzle. So that's a single wall vase mode, but it's actually substantial and thick because it's a actually I think this is a 1mm. So it's a 1mm extrusion. CR5 Pro high temp, really? Now, is that high temp as in 400-degree high temp or high temp as in nylon polycarbonate high temp? Well, that's the fake website. I want the real website. Yeah, 300C. That's not high temp. That's what we call mid temperature. So that's from Colin Folkingham. That's just slightly higher than the 260 we could print at now. So that gets you comfortably into the low-end nylon PC range. We're talking about hot-end temperatures, double that. Yeah. Well, not quite double that. 30% more than that. We're talking 400-degree hot ends so that we could print things like Peak and Ultim. But I'll definitely have to look into that, though. Because being able to reliably print, you know, nylon and polycarbonate would be nice. So anytime I print something large, structural, etc., that doesn't need high detail, I use the 1.2 millimeter nozzles, just because it gets me my. The biggest thing is, besides strength, is speed. So when I print with a 1.2 millimeter nozzle, I have to slow down to 30 millimeters per second. You're thinking, wow, that's too slow. I'm printing 3 times faster than you. So I could print at 30 millimeters per second, and I'm printing 3 times faster than you do at 60 millimeters per second. That's because I am extruding 6 times the amount of plastic per millimeter. So even though I'm printing at 30 millimeters per second, I'm extruding 6 times the amount of plastic, which means I'm still making a print at 3 times the speed you do. Actually, any hot end that does not PTFE lined can handle 300C. So pretty much any hot end that's all metal will do 300C. The reason for the 250, 260 limitation is the PTFE lining in the hot end. The PTFE tube can't handle that temperature. The PTFE fries. Yeah, you don't want a fume extractor so much as fume isolation. You can't just extract fumes from a printer like that. You're going to introduce a draft inside the printer, which is going to destroy your print. But you do need to close up the printer and vent it outside. At least I would suggest venting it outside. If you're going to try printing it inside, like here. Now, if you have a shed or some outside space you can use, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you're going to try printing at high temperatures in your house, I would suggest ventilation to the outdoors. You know, do the equivalent of, you can even just use styrofoam. The murder cat, the murder muffin, the murder mittens, where are they at? Well, they're hiding. The guys came in and they went. Got a new brush for them. So we will try. See how they like that. Noel seems to like it pretty much, and Ender, he's okay with it. I think once I've pet him a bit with it, he's gonna like it. It's the kind of thing where I bring this out and I go to pet him and he wants to run, but then I get him a couple times with it and he pauses. He's like, I want to run, but that feels good. I want to run, but that feels good. So he can't decide yet, so he'll probably be okay with it. But it seems to do an okay job of pulling hair off them. Because that's what I need. I need something to get rid of their shedding. Because man, do they shed. I haven't done resin printing recently, like in the last couple of weeks. But I do have my wash station and 2 resin printers set up right here. Because there are some things that I want to print. I need to print some launch lugs and some smaller motor retention mounts that I want to print for rocketry. So I've got the resin printers ready to do that. Oh, wow. You can get a replacement CR6SE hot end for $24. I didn't know you can get them that cheap. Right now, I'm not printing anything. Oh, I think they just pressurized.
Make sure there's no leak.
Yeah.
That's why I came in and asked for soap.
And that was from Sweet B52. I have the Creality and the Sonic. The 2 printers that have the black and white screens. I don't do a whole lot with the... Oh, they're over there, actually. I don't do a whole lot with the RGB screens anymore. I probably should just use them until they die. But I pretty much just use the black and white screens because I've gotten used to the burn times to get the layers. And if I switch back to the RGB, I have to change my burn times. But they're so fast. It's just... I hope I manage to get one of the larger ones soon. How many printers do I have? I don't know. It's approximately 160, 165 printers, approximately. Most of them are still crated up inside crates outside in the bus and in the containers. Yeah, I want a large one, but I can't afford one. So if a manufacturer doesn't send me one, I can't get one. But I would love to get like a Saturn or any of the newer, larger printers. Because I would love to be able to do larger things in resin. Especially if I could figure out a way to get my hands on some flexible resin. Because that's where it's going to get interesting. To be able to make durable parts out of resin. Nice. Frozen. The Frozen Sonic is the other printer. Yeah, I like Frozen. They seem to be a good company. I want to get that flexible resin. The stuff that's like semi-flexible. Like you could literally bounce it on the ground and it won't care. Heat and wear resistant, multi-use, easy to use, Onyx Pro 410. I will save that video and watch it later. Watch later. I'll check that out. Let me close these tabs so we don't overtax the CPU. This should be paused so it doesn't consume CPU cycles. This is that limited edition filament from Alien 3D, Blood of My Enemies or something like that. Some sort of blood red. Really, really beautiful color. This is that paper bag model that you get off Thingiverse. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. I gotta get some more of that. It is a really nice red color. Very, very pleased with it. Reminds me of, I got the new Olight review thing. It's a flashlight that recharges in a case like the headphones do. That's pretty neat. And that recharges by USB-C. And you just pop the flashlight in there and it recharges. A tiny little flashlight. Oh, you guys get a kick out of this. I've been wanting one of these for forever. I just could never justify spending money on it. Well, it finally popped up on the review site. So I was like, oh, I'm getting one now. I just got to find the power supply for it. What did I do with the power supply? That's just cords. What did I do? I got one of those persistence of vision things that you can display an image on it. I don't think this is it. Oh, this is it. You gotta be careful because this can hurt you. Isn't that cool? Gotta be careful. You get your finger in there, it's gonna hurt. These things are dangerous, man. You don't want to use these in public without a shield around it or high enough where people can't get one. Can't touch it because, man, that'll hurt you. But isn't that cool? So it uses a little line of LEDs and it just flicks them on and off at the right time and uses persistence of vision to allow you to see the image. That is so cool. I haven't got it to work yet, but there's an app for the phone to convert and upload the images by Wi-Fi to the device, or you just pull out the SD card. You just pull out the SD card, stick it in your computer, you convert it to the bin file that this needs. Really freaking cool. I've wanted one of these for so long. I could just never justify spending the money on something that's just not going to be used very often. Hang on, let me get you a link for that. It's just really, that's my L2 rocket flight, my L2 launch at Narum in 2010. Oh, come on. Stop doing that. So annoying. Now, was that AFA or AI? I don't remember what it was called. Okay, we are too far back. It's not there. Oh, yeah, it would hurt. It feels like a brushless motor in there, too, so it's got some torque. Meaning, stick your finger in there, you're going to feel it. I'm trying to find the link for that. I did a search for that, didn't come up. So it might be an AFA item, which won't show up in my order history. But it will show up in my review history. But I can't search the review history. I just have to go page by page until I find it. Oh, I ordered a bunch of these energy on the go bars. They were free, so I figured, what the hell? I'll just see what they taste like. I got let's see, I got the chicken mango, salmon and carrot, and there's one more. Really weird flavors. And lamb and apple. And I was like, well, that'll be interesting. Let's try that and see what it's like. And then I realized after I ordered them, for dogs. Oops. I'm not going to taste them. Oh, and you want to talk about spoiled? Oh my God, I got so lucky. This actually showed up in my RFY. And we're going to have 4 65-inch TVs now. So my sister is getting spoiled because she's getting this in her bedroom. Yep. Yeah, she's getting one of those for her bedroom. I was like, you lucky little wench. You're so lucky. But that'll be nice. Oh, check out this psychotic thing here. Basically, yeah. Jesus. Look at this monster. 50,000 milliamp battery. I decided I wasn't going to buy any batteries that weren't quick charge. But when I saw 50,000 milliamp, I just had to grab that just for shiggles. So yeah, that's a big freaking battery. It's got a solar panel. Yeah, it would probably take about a month in the sun to recharge it with that solar panel. Oh, it's heavy. I don't know how heavy it is. It probably tells me here. I'll bring it up. I'm still trying to find the little LED thing. Come on, where is it? It's not here. It's not here at all. Well, I guess I don't have to review that. That happens every now and then. A seller will break the rules, and they'll try to get people to pay them to do reviews, and they'll get booted off Amazon. So every now and then I'll get a product like this, and then I'll go to review it, and it's not there. Usually it's it'll be there, but it'll say item not found when I try to review it. This is gone completely. It's not in my review list at all. So I'm guessing they really pissed off Amazon and they got booted off Amazon. Okay, it's free. I'll take it. This battery, on the other hand, is a different kind of beast, because this battery is capable of charging and discharging at 100 watts. So this is a 10,000 milliamp battery. It's a little bit big for 10,000 milliamps. No, not really. They don't take that much time. The this thing will fully charge from dead to full in 23 minutes. That's just ridiculous. And it doesn't even get hot, which is mind-blowing. You'd expect it to get hot. It doesn't, because it's graphene based. They're using graphene for heat dissipation, so it's kind of neat. I'm surprised it's not here. Yeah, they must have gotten kicked off, or I missed it. Well, whenever I go out in the field, I have to charge all my stuff. Well, you're pumping 10,000 milliamps of power into this battery in 23 minutes. Usually, you get heat when you do that. When you ever fast charge a battery, the batteries are usually hot after you fast charge them. Like 15-minute nickel metal hydrides. Remember those? Nickel metal hydride AA's, you can recharge in 15 minutes. They're usually hot when they're done. RC car battery pack, if you fast charge it, it's usually hot when it's done. This gets just barely warm. So very good heat dissipation. Or actually very efficient. Apparently it's 95% efficient at 100 watts charging. So you're only wasting 5% of your power input to heat. So that's pretty impressive. If you tried to charge this battery at that speed, it'd blow up. Like literally, it'd blow up. I thought this was cute. It's a 50 caliber bullet bottle opener. Not a real one though. It's not a real 50 cal casing that's been made into a bottle opener. It's just a bottle opener shaped like one, but freaking heavy. So solid chunk of metal. Yeah, it's not there. Weird. Oh, the orange one's not available anymore. Just red and black. So if for some reason you want a stupidly large battery for cheap, because it's only 52 bucks, there you go. When I go on the field with my cameras and my rocketry and stuff like that, I charge everything off USB. So for example, even like these are the batteries for this camera. So this camera here, it's a high-speed camera. This camera can do 60 frames per second or 1,000 frames per second at lower resolutions. So I use that for high-speed photography, and it uses these batteries. It's a dual charger, and it charges by USB, so micro or C. So in the field, I would have this sitting on my table or one of these. So usually what will happen is, this will be in my pocket, in my chest pouch for charging up stuff on the go. And then this will be at my table or at my car, and I'll plug everything I need into that to charge it up. And then when I get back to the hotel, I recharge all of these for the next day. And so I tend to lean toward anything that can charge off of USB, because then I can charge everything off USB. Well, the nice thing about those is that they're lithium iron phosphate chemistry. So in theory, they should last 10 years. So we'll see how that works out. That's why I also love getting these things. Every time I see one pop up on the review site, I grab them. They're these itty bitty little USB cables. So this is a C to C, and this is an A to C. And so I could plug this into this, and then plug this into whatever, and it's all super compact. And this could handle 5 amps or 100 watts, either one of these. So any of my devices can charge at full speed. So for example, this can put out 60 watts over USB-C. So I could plug this into this, and then plug this into this, and this battery will charge this battery at 60 watts, which means it'll fully charge it in 30 minutes. So, every time I get back to the site, my table, to sit down for a bit, I'll just plug this in no matter what its charge state is, and that'll always keep this battery full. And then this is the battery that I carry out to the field with me. So when I plug my little micro cameras, when I'm, like, here's one of the little micro cameras. I got this one here. So now, out in the field, I don't have to walk back to the car. While I'm prepping this, I can plug this camera into this battery and charge it up and keep the camera topped up so that when I fly, the camera has a full charge. Same thing with like little cameras like this. Where I know it has an open end. Where's the open end? There it is. Little cameras like this. So these little cameras get strapped to the rockets, and I need USB to charge them up. So I use these batteries to keep these all charged up. Cell phone starts to die, charge it up. I can charge up everything with these USB batteries. So for what I do, having charge up the drone batteries, it's all USB, micro USB-C. So it comes in handy. This was just I had to get it just because, if I had to buy this, I wouldn't have got it. But because I got it through the review thing, that link right there, 50,000 milliamp battery, and technically it can solar charge. I mean, it's kind of silly to try to charge something like this on solar power. That panel's just not big enough. If you're lucky, that's a 300 milliamp panel. So you're going to put, that's 3 amps. No, 300 milliamps is 0.3 amps per hour. So you're going to get 3 amps per day. That's, what is that? 5 times 0.3. So 5 times 3. You're going to get 15 watts per day. It's a 150 watt hour battery. So even under optimal perfect conditions, it'll take you, actually that's like 170 watt hours, I think. It's going to take you 10 to 150. It's going to take you 12 days to recharge this by solar power. And that's with optimal perfect conditions. So the reality is probably more like 20 days to recharge this by the solar panel. I'm assuming that's like a 1.5, 2 watt panel on there. Maybe it's more, but you're still looking at well over a week to recharge that by solar. You're better off getting, a proper 30, 60 watt panel that has a USB output. Any new 3D printers? I have, next week we're going to do the Kaiwu 3D printer. That yellow and black one, that was pretty nice. That I got the early Kickstarter version of. Well, they sent me the retail version, meaning what was actually shipped to the customers. So we will be doing that next week. We'll see if there's any difference. I still have the original one sitting on my floor in my bedroom. So I'll pull both out and we'll compare the beta release with we'll see if there's any changes with the final release. So that'll be fun. That one does not have a it doesn't have a high power output. These are just 2.5 amp outputs, so not even QC. They're not even quick charge ports. Although I don't know if the USB-C port is bi-directional or not. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. But it's just Such a stupidly large battery. It's such a ridiculously large battery. It's just, that's a big battery. I do have little batteries that will jumpstart your car. Oh, here's another nice one I got. This one will PD charge. I've restricted, except for crazy weird ones like this that are just crazy big. I've restricted myself to getting batteries, only batteries that have USB-C and can quick charge themselves. So this one will QC at 45 watts. So it'll input output 45 watts. It also has 2 regular QC ports and a 100 watt AC outlet. So I can plug AC devices into this. That's also really handy out in the field when you have something that just does not have USB power and you need an AC port. Well, there you go. That one and this one all have AC ports. These are also wonderful for yard sailing and thrift shopping because you can test stuff on the spot. You can even test things like microwaves. You can't start the microwave, but you can plug it in and you can see if the buttons work. You see if the light inside works. You know, and like I said, you can't actually turn the microwave on. Obviously 100 watts is not going to do that, but you know, small lamps, you know, gadgets, devices, you can do all that. That's political welfare, God, so we're not going to talk about that. All I can tell you is that racist people taste delicious. They're very, very good. I mean, they're like a delicacy. I mean, especially when they run and scream first. Oh, I like when they run and scream first. I like all mean people, but some of them taste better than others. I would love to, Colin. That'd be awesome. Just remember, racists taste good. They taste like chicken. If it's PTFE lined, no. If it's all metal, yes. If you want to print high temperatures, look into what's that company? Slice Engineering. So look into Slice Engineering's hot ends if you want to get into some high temp stuff. And when we were talking before, I started mentioning about venting high temperature plastic fumes. What I would do is I would get a piece of styrofoam to put in your window, kind of like when you put the hose from a portable air conditioner to vent outside. Do that with like a little 3-inch hose going to the printer. And then a little 5-volt USB fan in the hose to vent the air out. You're probably not even going to feel that. Doesn't even make sense. I'm trying to read that. Damn, so you're saying racist people are black because they like chicken? What does that even mean? Everybody tastes like chicken. So I don't care if you're black, blue, polka dot, yellow, green, or an alien. Yeah, well, I don't know about aliens. I haven't eaten an alien yet. But no matter what race you are, you taste like chicken. So, you know, us cannibals are completely equal opportunity, non-discriminating. We will eat anybody. We prefer mean people because good people don't taste as good. Mean people taste better. The best are racists and politicians. Those taste the best because they tend to run and they tend to scream. But are black because they like chicken? I don't understand that. What does that even mean? The mosquito, yes, go to 500C. No, that's not what I said. I said racist people taste good and that everybody tastes like chicken. So, no, that's not what I said. Vegans, I tell them, you know, you don't have to participate. You catch them, we eat them. So they can do their part. Let me close some of these tabs, bring the CPU temperature down. I gotta take this thing apart, and I guarantee you the fan is caked with cat hair. Because it doesn't come out as fast as it should. So I guarantee you there's cat hair all up inside that fan. So I got to take it apart and clean it. I also got some cheap high-speed, good quality SD cards, because these cameras do not read cards larger than 32 gigabytes. Even when formatted FAT32, they won't read over 32 gigs. They're older cameras. So, this is a cheaper version of these cameras, but it's newer. So I'm hoping the sensor will be a little bit faster. One of the problems I have with the high-speed cameras is skewing because of the scan rate of the CMOS sensor. So what'll happen is you'll have a fin on a rocket sticking out like this, but on the picture, the fin will look like this. It'll get skewed. How do feet taste? Nasty if you don't clean them. Fine if you do clean them. You deep fry them, make little toe nuggets. I got a new knife for doing that too. Portable air dusters. Look at that. That's one solid piece of stainless steel. Is it stainless steel? No, it's not stainless, because it sticks to a magnet. That's right, you want to use high carbon steel with knives, not stainless. But that's a nice looking knife. The handle, a little small. I mean, it's got girth, but I don't know, the handle just doesn't feel right. It feels too small. It feels like there should be something more substantial for me to hold on to for that handle. You know, I'm just not, for whatever reason, I'm not thrilled by that handle. The ergonomics are just not there. I don't know why. Like, I can feel my fingers tightening up trying to hang on to it. It's just, and I got big hands. I mean, I got gigantic hands. You know, here's a USB plug in front of my hand. So I got big hands. And even my hands have a tough time just, I don't know, the ergonomics feel off. So this is from a company called Host Edition. So, nice knife. I mean, it's a beautiful knife, but it's just, I don't know, the ergonomics don't feel right. So anyway, you just chop those toes off, and you deep fry them, and you got little toe nuggets. Yummy, yummy snacks. Yummy, yummy snacks.
Yummy snack.
We're going to eat you.
Are you stopping at Sonic on the, after you get to the bank or before?
Probably not. Here's another little spy camera I got. They lied on this one. Excuse me. They lied. The picture showed this being about half this size. I mean, it's still pretty small. The video's okay. Broad daylight, the video should be pretty decent. But the picture showed this being a lot smaller. Now, the nice thing about this is it's very easy to turn on and off. All I do is flick that button to video and it starts recording. I don't have to press and hold or do anything like that. But, it's all right. That's all right, DeWitt. No big deal. Have I ever filmed porn with that? No, I've never filmed porn. Oh, and that little LED fan comes with the remote. Now, I kind of wish the remote would let me change images. Like right now, you put bin files on the SD card, and it just cycles through the bin files. I wish the remote would let me switch to different images, but it doesn't. It's just on-off. What did I do with that other one? Did I lose it already? Yeah, I think I lost it already. Already misplaced it. Finally got Michelle approved for a credit card. We're just gonna keep it, you know, use it once a month for a regular bill or something like that, but not really use it. Just to, I want to make sure she has some established credit. My dad burned her with a couple credit cards, you know, in both their names, maxed them out, then didn't pay them off, you know. Nothing malicious, just, you know, life happens. Voxel Lab Aquila. And we're going to get rid of that one pretty quickly, though. As soon as we can get one that doesn't have an annual fee, we'll cancel that. And hopefully get her credit, you know, above 600 so we can get her a card through the credit union, because that'll have favorable terms. Aquila 3D printer. Okay, so it's an Ender 3. Looks like a nice display on it. And it's only 180 bucks. Wow. Looks like it's a clone of a mix between the Ender 3 Pro and the Ender 3 V2. Because I noticed it has a lot of the design features that I suggested for the Ender 3 Pro, but it also has like the built-in tensioners like the V2. The only thing I don't like is it's got a single rail for the Y-axis, which really isn't that bad on a printer this size. I just prefer double rail, but at least it's a 40 wide, not a 20 wide. Lightning deal on Amazon, you mean? Here it is on Amazon. So it's currently $179. Yeah, I'll save it. That's interesting. We shall see. Wow, 134. If that's shipped, that's pretty cheap. Arc welder plug-in for G-code compression? Why would you want to compress G-code? Flashforge makes it? Flashforge is a good company. At least I think they are. I trust them. I only do profiles for Simplify 3D simply because I have the experience to make profiles for that. I don't have enough experience to make profiles for Prusa Slicer. Did I put a profile online for that? Let me check. Google Drive. Michelle. Let's see. King Rune. I do not see it on here. I'll have to upload that. Because Flashforge is a good company. I tend to trust Flashforge. No problem, do it. Oh, for anybody curious, Where'd that link go? Well, they tend to be pretty expensive, so you're not going to hear a whole lot about them. Sadly, version 5 of Simplified 3D is probably never going to come out. I hope it does, but it's not likely. That's the link for the Voxel Lab printer. Okay, Simplify 3D. They have their own internal issues. Some of the people there have a stick up so far up their ass. It's, you know, it's amazing they can walk. As much as I love the slicer, their support is not that good. But, well, their attitude's not that good. Although I did notice their attitude's softening the last couple of years. Like, they weren't being as douchebaggery the last couple of years. They've been softening up quite a bit, so maybe that was changing, but I think too little too late. Here's the problem with Simplify 3D. The problem is Simplify 3D can't compete. No, and it's not even a matter of how good the slicer is. They can't compete. It's not possible. Because they're up against 2 free slicers that are supported by large corporations that do not have to pay anything or make any money off of the slicer. So, Ultimaker uses Cura. Hey, Red Light. Ultimaker uses Cura. So, Ultimaker, which is a very large 3D printing corporation, can afford to dump resources into updating Cura because it helps the sales of their 3D printers, the Ultimakers. Now, since they don't have to make money off the slicer, they can keep it free. You know, they can afford to pour money into a slicer without making any money off the slicer because they make the money off their printers. Prusa is Slick 3R. That's what Prusa is using. Prusa Slicer is Slick 3R. And Prusa Slicer can afford to pour money and resources into updating Slick 3R into Prusa Slicer, which is very good, because they don't have to make money off the slicer. They make their money selling Prusa printers. Watch the language well, for God. So that creates an unfair advantage for Cura and Prusa Slicer that Simplify 3D cannot have. How do you sell a $150 slicer when you have Cura and Prusa Slicer that are not as good, but good enough for free? So how do you justify putting the investment into updating software? You have to pay engineers. You got to pay people to update this software, and the only money you make is from selling the slicer, which you're going to have trouble selling because 2 giant printer companies can afford to dump software time into free slicers because they make their money from printers. I don't see a way out for Simplify 3D. I don't see a way for them to compete with that. There's no way they can compete with that. It's like, imagine if you were a hot dog vendor and your competition, the other guy across the street with his hot dog truck, was able to sell his hot dogs for free because he got the hot dogs for free. How do you compete with that? But you're not allowed to get the hot dogs for free. You have to pay for the hot dogs. How do you compete with that? You don't. You can't. There is no way for you to compete with free. What?
My shoes.
They fit good? They feel comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Not too large? Like your foot doesn't rock around inside or loose or anything?
Nope.
Good. Very, very good.
I'm going to lay down.
Okay.
Wait for the
I'll come in later and get pictures.
I will, Mommy.
You don't like their Prusa's filament? Prusament? I love their filament. Their filament's gorgeous. Hey, Jimmy. The heater cartridges do not use normal wire. They use a different kind of wire. Yeah, I've been getting her some good shoes. I just got her a $208 pair of Keen utility boots, and then I just got her like a $140 pair of Keen sneakers, heavy duty utility sneakers. And so I got it off the review site, of course, so I didn't have to pay for it. But I'm getting her some good name brand quality shoes, not like freaking Nike bullshit. We're talking Keen here, good quality shoes. So it's just nice to get her quality stuff that I know is going to last her a long time, that's going to hold up to abuse, that's going to give her the support she needs. So I've been getting her some good quality stuff, which makes me happy. But I never had to print their stuff with silk settings. So of course I have to do a review. So I got to take pictures of the shoes, but I wanted her to try them on first, see how they felt, make sure they felt good. Sizing is always difficult when you order online, especially with her, because, we're overweight, so her ankles are larger. And so I ended up I got her a size 9.5 for the boots, and they fit good, so I got her a size 9 for the shoes, and they fit good. So I also got her a pair of nice, real leather and sheep-lined moccasins with a rigid bottom, so you could actually go outside in them if you need to. So easy for her to put on, walk around the house, because we can't walk around the house barefoot. Contrary to some households, shoes are mandatory in this household because we have these plants outside that grow out of the ground. They lay flat on the ground. They don't grow up. They spread out on the ground. And you want a blue wrench? Don't abuse it. There you go. Just don't abuse it. We don't ban people here for saying stuff unless they're egregiously out of control. All right, so be nice. Well, these plants, whatever the hell they are, they create caltrops, literally organic caltrops. They create these freaking spikes. These I probably have some here. I don't see one, but let me tell you, it's like someone taking a nail and shoving it through your foot. I mean, it sticks into your car tires. They're so strong. It like the Crocs, when they get thin, it'll go right through the bottom of them. They're like these ridiculous spawn of Satan, hellborn thorns that these plants produce. I think it's so that it'll stick to whatever animals step on it, and the animals will take it away. They're probably seeds, but they're horrible. So I have them throughout the house because they stick to your shoes, and then you bring them in the house. In fact, do I have any on my shoes? I probably do. Hang on. There's a piece of one. Look at that spike. There it is. That's half of one. Look at the size of that spike. I mean, these things are nasty. And they will mess your shit up if you step on one directly. So we can't walk around the house. No timeouts. We're all about freedom of speech and jerks here, so it's fine. Now, if they're egregiously nasty, like they are straight up trolling, I'm going to get demonetized. You don't want your 12-year-old kid reading this crap, that you can block. But otherwise, I'm very forgiving on this channel. I don't tend to block or time out people unless they're particularly egregious. We have trolls for breakfast, okay? So we like the trolls. We eat them for breakfast. So far, it hasn't bothered the cats. I was worried about that. I guess the cats are either light enough or they can see them and they avoid them, but it hasn't bothered the cats though. Thank you for the mention. Oh, so it's called thermal wire. See, that's the thing. I never knew what it was called. I knew it was non-standard because it's a stiff wire. It's a very stiff wire with some kind of sleeving around it, like some kind of insulation, and then it's got that red sleeve on the outside. So I don't know what exactly that is. What? What are you talking about? No, it's okay. Spiky ballweed. Okay, this 3D Jeff has a very pronounced Z-seam. So the Z-seam is where the nozzle starts and stops each layer. And so we call that a Z-seam. You might call it zitting. But that's where your layer starts and stops. You cannot get rid of the Z-seam, except to use vase mode, which you can only do for very certain prints. You gotta render that fat out, yeah. So, to control the Z-seam, the first thing you have to control is temperature and extrusion. So printing too hot is going to pronounce your Z-seam. Over extruding, even slightly, where your print looks fine, but it's over extruding, is going to enhance your Z-seam. The other thing now, so that's the first thing you need to adjust. Now, the way you adjust that is you print a calibration, print a cube, okay? But you only need to print like 5 millimeters of it. So you need to print 3 bottom layers, 4 top layers, and 25% infill. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep reducing your extrusion multiplier in your slicer until you have gaps between the lines. So when you make a print, we're going to pretend that this is the top of the print, okay? You have to be at least 5 millimeters thick. You have to print some infill, because otherwise you're introducing the leftover squish from your first layers, which you don't want. So don't worry about E-steps. You're going to have to fine-tune this with extrusion multiplier. E-steps is not the end-all, be-all of extrusion calibration. That just gets you in the ballpark. To actually adjust it, you need to play with extrusion multiplier. So when you're done printing the object, you're going to look at your top layers there. All right, now if you look, you can see all the top layers, these are bottom layers, but they're all merged together. What you're going to do is you're going to keep reducing your extrusion multiplier by 2 points. So start at, I would start at 94%. So start at 94% or 0.94. No, because the seam is always going to be on the outside. Because you have to start and stop somewhere. I start on the inside, I end on the outside, I start on the outside, I end on the inside. No matter what, you're always going to have an external seam, unless you do vase mode. No, these are not spike balls. We used to have them back east. I see the spike balls. You're talking about these. Yeah, I've seen them back east. That's not what these are. These kind of look like tumbleweeds, but they're flat. They don't ball up into a tumbleweed. They stay flat and they spread along the ground totally flat. And they're just covered in these vicious fucking spikes. So you're going to keep reducing your extrusion multiplier until a gap forms between your lines. You'll actually be able to stick your fingernail in between the gaps. So when you load, so try 94%, then try 92%, then try 90%. When you get the gap, go backwards. So if you go down to 88% and you form a gap, go back to 90%. Make sure there's no gap. You want them to be as loose as possible without there being a gap. So you're probably going to end up between 90 and 94%. Once you find that particular number, then your extrusion multiplier is correct. You want to make sure your perimeters are sticking together properly. So you got to make sure your perimeters don't split apart. And then you make sure there's no gaps in your top layer. Once you get that fine-tuned, you should notice that your Z-seam gets a lot better. Now, there are ways to further enhance the Z-seam. You can adjust, there are both wipe and coast. Wipe and coast are two different things. Okay, so what's the best way to describe this? So you have the perimeter of your print, and you're going to start here. You move around the entire perimeter, stop, lift up, start the next perimeter. Stop, lift up, start the next perimeter. That's where your Z-seam is. Now, coast is, okay, when you're extruding, you extrude and move at the same time. So let's say this perimeter is, 15, 10, 15, 10, okay? So that's 30, 40, 50 millimeters. So you're going to move 50 millimeters, and you're going to extrude 50 millimeters of filament. Wipe means I extrude and move 50 millimeters, but when I get to the end, I stop extruding, but I keep moving. So if there's any ooze coming out of the printer, it gets wiped off on the layer that's already there. That's your first step. I use 8 millimeters of wipe. Now, wipe itself can also introduce artifacts, but they are a lot more pleasing than the Z-seam. Coast can also be very effective, but it's also very dangerous because it can introduce problems. Coast can be both positive and negative. No. Actually, I think it can be both. But anyway, coast is where you have a difference between travel distance and extrusion. So, go on again. AJ Ortega. Hi, Kitty. So, remember we said this was 50 millimeters of travel and 50 millimeters of extrusion. So, what you might do is say, travel 50 millimeters, but stop extruding a half a millimeter before you get to the end. So, we're only going to extrude 49.5 millimeters of filament, even though we're traveling 50 millimeters. This stops the extrusion early, so that if the printer continues to ooze a little more filament, because you've stopped extruding, that half a millimeter gives it time to get rid of that ooze without leaving a jarring Z-seam on your print. Now, the reason that can be dangerous is that you are introducing negative retraction. That's not a good way to calibrate. You need top layers to calibrate. You need virgin native top layers to get a good calibration. Bottom layers are absolutely worthless for calibration because they are going to be altered by your squish, by your first layer height and your first layer settings between the bed and the nozzle, which are never going to be perfect. You're always going to tweak those. So you can't use those to judge extrusion calibration. You have to be completely away from the squish layers in order to judge calibration, and you need solid top layers so that you can see whether the extrusion is correct or not, and you can feel it. So you need top layers, and you're going to want infill so that you don't have to have a whole bunch of top layers in order to get the proper top. That's why you want 4 top layers and 25% infill. So do your 20 by 20 millimeter cube, do it 5 millimeters tall, do 3 bottom layers, or 1 bottom layer, that's fine. 1 bottom layer, 25% infill, 3 perimeters, and 4 top layers. Yes, you can define where the seam goes. We're going to get to that next. So the reason coast is a problem is because coast is whatever. Like say you do 2 millimeters of coast. Well, I'm not calibrating for dimensional accuracy. I'm calibrating for flow. So I'm calibrating for aesthetic accuracy, not dimensional accuracy. Usually calibrating for aesthetic accuracy actually undervalues dimensional accuracy, which usually makes parts fit together better because they're a little bit looser. But I calibrate for aesthetics, not mechanical accuracy, because he wants to get rid of the Z-seam. So we're calibrating for aesthetics. Now, the reason coast can be dangerous. Let's say I'm using 2 millimeters of coast. But what if I'm only printing 1 millimeter of plastic? Or what if I'm only printing 3 millimeters of plastic? Well, now I'm only going to extrude 1 millimeter of plastic because I have 2 millimeters of coast. So if you're printing a very small part of the print with 2 millimeters of coast, I've actually had the printer pull the filament out of the printer. Because for every millimeter forward, it's a millimeter back. Because you have retraction. And the result of that is you end up pulling it out instead of forward. Your E-steps will do most of the work for controlling your mechanical accuracy. Your E-steps will take care of that. Most of the time, you don't need to adjust them. I have never had a printer that was so out of calibration that it was off by more than 0.1. I've never had a printer off by more than that. But extrusion multiplier will control your extrusion calibration, which is different than your stepper calibration. Now, what was that last thing? Now, there's also ways you can tell, like you can reduce the Z seam so much, but you can only reduce it so much. Now, there are other things that can affect your Z seam. If you have any drag in your extrusion system, that's going to affect your Z seam because you're going to have to adjust your flow to compensate for that drag, which is going to make things like Z seams worse. Exactly. Got some in my eye. So, if you have a gap between your PTFE and your nozzle, well, that gap might be small enough that it doesn't cause a leak, but large enough that it causes drag. And that's going to enhance things like Z-seam, because you're going to increase your extrusion multiplier to compensate for the drag from that gap, and the increased extrusion multiplier is going to cause more oozing, and the more oozing is going to cause an enhanced Z-seam. It'll also give you inconsistent layers, which you don't want. Now, the other thing you can do is you can control where you put the Z-seam. So, for example, Cura has the option of trying to hide the Z-seam in corners. So if I tell it to put the Z-seam here on the corner of this bag, well, you're not going to notice the Z-seam so much because it's already on a seam that already exists in the model. Some models are very compatible with that. Now, on your model, you can either tell it fastest, where it's going to start wherever it's closest, or you can tell it to start and stop the layers at a specific location. So I could say, start and stop the layers at this corner here, and then my Z-seam will follow this wall up. Yeah, that's why I told him not to do it. He's been asking me for that for months. It's like, whatever, just be nice about it. Don't be a dick. So you can define where you put the seam. You can even rotate the model on the bed to help make that easier. Well, if you're printing round objects, you like, for example, if I were to print, like if I'm printing this can and I can't put the can in vase mode, well, I'm going to put the Z-seam on the back of the can where it's not as in your face as the front of the can. All right. Also, random doesn't usually work unless you have very good Z-seam control. Did you change where you do your videos from? No, same spot. You can do better, but it's diminishing returns. I mean, think about it. You're talking about 0.2 millimeters. It doesn't matter, dude. There is almost nothing you're going to do where 0.2 millimeters is going to matter. You could try enhancing that a little bit. It's probably not going to matter. Like if you have an axis offset, well, put a 0.1 millimeter offset for that axis for X. And that'll get you to 20.1, 20.1. you're going to be close enough. Well, the point of the authority is to get rid of bad apples, not to be a jerk. It's to get rid of the jerks. But the truly egregious jerks, like the people who would get this channel demonetized, or the people that would cause parents to not want their kids to watch this program or something like that. Where, you know, when I say kids, we're talking teenagers here, you know, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. You know, family friendly. Needs to be family friendly. Children 13 and under shouldn't even be here. You know, they shouldn't even be here without their parents. What is it, 3D Jeff? Exactly. As long as you're family friendly, you're good. You know, we'll play the little troll game. I'm okay with that. Just gotta keep it YouTube friendly. I've been doing pretty good at controlling the foul language too. I've been getting better. But any other questions regarding Z-Scene, 3D Jeff? You can hear, oh, I just missed that question. CR10, I can hear rubbing inside the Bowden tube. You're going to have to clarify that. I don't know what that means. Rubbing inside the Bowden tube? Well, it is rubbing inside the Bowden tube. Why? Okay. What was the notification for? I don't know. Slowed down and sped up. That sounds like a hardware issue. Electrical hardware issue. Yeah, we're doing okay, Ray. Thank you. 3D Jeff says, while calibrating E-steps on my A8, shortly after flashing new firmware for the first time, I noticed that during the 100mm extrusion, it slowed down, sped up, slowed down, not stopped or skipped. That is a electrical, firmware, or hardware issue. Something's not right there. My guess would be firmware, because you said it happened after updating the firmware. No, we are totally okay with jumping to different topics. That's kind of what these are for. We are an all over the place kind of channel. We just try to avoid politics because that's a very bad subject to get into. It could be the stepper driver. Could be the connection. It could be the stepper, but it's unlikely. Steppers are cheap enough you could swap it and check that. But it would either be the stepper driver, the board, or the firmware, in my guess. What did you ask? Oh, yeah, about that. Yeah, no, we are totally all about straying off topic. We go all over the place. So do not be worried about that. I mean, if you want to talk about cat brushes or 3D printers or extrusion multipliers or cell phones or rocket ships to Mars, I don't care. Well, TH3D is Marlin. So they're both Marlin. Yeah, my guess would be stepper driver. If you have multiple stepper drivers, try swapping them and see if that helps. So like swap, with one of the other stepper drivers. If I don't know, that's weird. Yeah, my first guess would be motherboard or stepper driver or motherboard. But also double check the wires, make sure the connections are good. Now the other thing you could do, get rid of the Bowden tube, get rid of the hot end, meaning disconnect the two ends of the feeder and just feed the filament right through the feeder with no load, meaning no Bowden tube, not going to the hot end. Just let it pass through the feeder and out to nowhere and see if it still does the slow down thing. That'll remove mechanical drag from the equation. Now, if that works fine, grab the input filament with your finger and squeeze it a little bit. Apply some drag and see at what point it starts to do the slowdown thing. I haven't used it recently, but I keep it there because I want to use it. I just love doing dual color prints. It's just fun. But that's one of the reasons I keep that on desk here. Yeah, I kind of figured that was just, we're talking about the A8. So on the A8, try doing that. Try bypassing everything and seeing if it unladen with no load. See if it still does it. I can't recommend any mods for the Q5. It doesn't need anything. The Q5 just works so damn well, I wouldn't change it. Maybe Capricorn tubing when your existing PTFE finally wears out. Otherwise, no. I've never actually replaced a motherboard in a printer, so I can't, actually apply a recommendation because I don't have any experience with changing motherboards. My guess would be you have an electronic problem, so either stepper driver or motherboard. That would be my guess. If you have some spare steppers hanging around, try swapping a stepper. It's unlikely, but possible. Well, that, Dr. Jekyll, I don't know. I won't know unless I get audited. Hopefully I never get audited. I just did it. I filed the taxes, and I filed the deduction for an expense, and the expense was all the stuff that I got. My dad's accountant, his secretary is also now a CPA, and she does taxes, and she said she would run the taxes for me, no charge, and she said it looks fine. I gave her a detailed explanation of exactly what I'm doing and exactly what those forms are, and she seems to think it's perfectly okay. So now the reason that works is because this is a business and I actually make an income. So it's not like I'm running at a loss. I actually make a positive income and I pay taxes. So she seems to think it's perfectly okay. So it should be fine. I'm just trying to keep that number from being too big because I don't want anybody going, that's an unusually big number. Let's go look at that. Because my numbers are probably pretty big. I got $7,000 in TVs. That's a pretty big number. So let's see what my total is for the year. I'm almost afraid to look at this. So oh Jesus. I'm already at $41,000. Oh, I'm already at $41,000 and we're only in the beginning of May. That's a big number. So hopefully it's tax kosher. Because, man, if I continue at this rate, like if I continued at this rate without slowing down, that would be about $90,000. And times, let's say 0.15, that'd be $13,500 in taxes. That's more than my total income for the year. So I hope it works. It's okay. $200 to $300 a month. This month is $206. So ever since COVID started, I went from $700, $800 to $200, $300. You could actually see my numbers. December like $700, $800. January $700, $800. February $700, $800. March $300. just a huge when COVID started, and that hasn't recovered yet. I would go with Dave Brand motherboards. Motherboards that a lot of people are using. They're all very cheap. They're not expensive at all. But I can't give you any direct advice on motherboards because I haven't bought any. So it would be, immoral of me. I'd be lying. I'd be dishonest if I tried to give you a suggestion on it. So, as far as the income, so I got about $206 on affiliate income this month. I actually only got $170 because I got the money that I made in, let's see, February, I think, because there's a 90-day delay. So the 203 that I made this month, I will get that in July, May, June, July. Yeah, so July's payment will be the money I made this past month. I this month I made 170 from Amazon. I made 206 from Patreon. I made 70 from YouTube, plus whatever you guys send to me during the streams. That's a separate line item all on its own. And so about $600-700 a month, which is not great, of course, but it's okay. It's survivable. Checking my email here. Sorry for what? And that's the other thing. You can use a Creality board in any printer you want. You just have to adjust the firmware. Now, the advantage of Creality boards, they're very reliable and very stable. The disadvantage is they're relatively proprietary, meaning you can't change the stepper drivers, for example. But you could buy a Creality silent board for like, what, $40-45 or something like that, and you could put that in any printer you want. You just have to recode the firmware to match the specs of your new printer. And yes, I've heard a lot of people like SKR boards. Well, the good thing about the 3D printing hobby is it's cheap. I mean, you can make it expensive if you want, but in general, it's cheap. Now, the duet boards are supposedly amazing, but they're also very, very expensive. Yeah, they don't run Marlin on the duet boards. They run something different. Which board came in the CR10? The CR10 came with two different boards. The original CR10 came with one board, and the CR10S came with a different board. The CR10S comes with a better board. Yeah, but now you're not getting the original duet quality. You're getting the unknown quality of the knockoff. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Meaning, buy it from a reputable source that has a good return policy. Amazon. If you can. Chimney, chimney, chimney. All right. DeWitt sent me 25 bucks on PayPal. You rock, dude. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Looks like T3D got new stuff. Easy plugs, easy cams, MKS S-Gen L V2 boards, and 2209 drivers. So it looks like that backlog of stuff from China finally got through the Suez Canal. Whew, so I got to try to, lay off the review stuff for a bit to, especially now they changed the rules. It's dangerous. We noticed that normally you're allowed to pick 8 items per day. Yeah, I got maybe I'm gonna have one of them help me with that. Okay, so I had a smoke alarm in the 3rd bedroom, but then I put up shelving units below the smoke alarm. Now I can't reach the smoke alarm, and there's not enough room in there to set up a step ladder. There's not enough space between the bed. It's a very small room, so I have 2 twin beds in there to make a queen bed, and there's not enough room. Hey.
Got a moment?
Yep, what's up?
Go outside.
Okay. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, guys, I got a question for you. I got this button on my screen that allows, let's see. They got the guys for the AC system have to talk to me real quick. Come on, come on, come on. So I got to go outside for a couple of minutes to talk to them. I noticed there's a button here, there's a dollar button here, and it says insert ad. So I'm going to click that when I go outside, and when I come back, tell me what happened on your end. I have no idea what it does exactly. I'm assuming it inserts an ad right in the middle of the video here, but I've never actually done it before. So it says ad inserted. So let me know what happens. No, it wasn't. Did they actually show a Pornhub ad? No way. I probably get no kickback from orders placed through the ad. I just get the normal YouTube ad revenue. Oh, really? SN15, huh? So what was the ad about? I'd never even noticed that before, and I put the mouse over and it said insert ad, and I'm like, what? And I was like, oh, that's what that means. Oh, really? It didn't put an ad in? I clicked insert ad and it didn't do anything? Is it like random? Do only certain people get it? Looks like the stream is over.
Keep up the good work.
Oh no, it's still live.
Went behind the wall though. Oh, it did? Yeah.
Oh, did it crash?
Thank you. Wah. Deflected some way, right? But ship could take some sort of probe, Tesla and 2 trucks maybe, and then maybe the roads have been open.
Transportation system that can get as many people.
It's mass to orbit, and it's as cheap as, and you can get carry protection side of it, but and things like that. Senate can't plan in case you miss one, right? Or in case.
Oh no, they just switched. It didn't fly yet. Okay.
You can't move. Heard a lot of commentary or a lot of response here. Don Clay says, "I'm sitting in my old person chair and enjoying your banter." Appreciate it, Don. Thank you so much. Peter Whitehead here says you always manage to keep the chat.
2:06, so they're 1 hour difference.
Good job, everyone. Peter Whitehead, thank you for the Curly L support. Osprey GT has 2 cats watching. Thanks.
There you
Osprey.
go.
And then we've got, let's see.
So it hasn't flown yet. Do we know when it's going to fly approximately? This one's supposed to have a whole bunch of improvements. Somebody said PayPal. Let us check. Yeah, for some reason I'm not getting notifications for PayPal. I have to actually log into PayPal to see. Hi, kitty. Yeah, you good boy. You're not hiding in the other room. You're staying with me, huh? You're such a good boy. Yeah. You afraid of those new people, huh? Holy living crap. Colin, $100. You rock, dude. That takes care of the extra. I'm just paying them. I'm not kidding. The runs for the tubes ended up being longer than they expected, so we agreed on an extra $100 to cover it. And so that's freaking perfect, dude. Thank you. You rock. Yeah, probably because I have too many windows open, especially since I tried to play another video. So let me close all of these windows to allow it to catch up a little bit. Actually, I can do even better if I bring up YouTube on the phone. There we go. Now I can bring up live chat on on the phone, then I can close this window here. And that'll bring the CPU down. How's that looking? Yeah, looks like lag went away. I still see a little bit. Yeah, I gotta take this computer apart and clean that fan out. Because I'm 99.9% certain what's happening is there's cat hair in the fan, and so it's throttling the CPU down to avoid overheating. Because this is a 3.4 gigahertz i7 with 32 gigs of RAM. So it's got plenty of horsepower. So I'm guessing we're seeing CPU throttling. I really want to build an i9 system, even just a basic one, but they're so stupidly expensive. I mean, a basic bare bones i9 is like $1,400. It's like, I'm not blowing that on a computer. I'd rather get 2 more loads of asphalt millings to protect the house. That's probably exactly what I'm going to do, too. I want to get 2 more loads of asphalt millings to go around the outside of the house. So, to show you what I mean, let's risk opening the browser and see what happens. %, we're still good. Let's see. Ooh, we're jumping up to 64%. So as you guys know, this is about what the place looks like here. So this is concrete. All this here is asphalt millings. So all this is asphalt. All this is asphalt and concrete all the way out to about here. And the containers are back here. So this last bit of the house, this front part here in shadow, this side, and this little bit back right here, I want to get asphalt millings to go around the entire house. This way I'll have a 5-foot fire break around the whole house. So if we ever get a fire, it won't be able to reach the house. Hi, kitty. How you doing, baby? You're such a good boy. Yeah, you're not as afraid of them, huh? But I bet if one came in the house, you'd take off like a bat out of hell, wouldn't you? He's such a good boy. I wonder if you would like this energy bar. It's for dogs, but I'm wondering if he'll eat it. Let's find out. You want that? Yeah? You want that? Here you go. He's taking off with it. He might actually like it. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Cat stepped on the keyboard. He took off with it. He might be eating it. The little chicken and mango. I think he might actually like it. Did you like it, baby? Huh? You want another piece? Stop stepping on the keyboard. You keep changing my OBS settings. Stop it. Yeah, I think he wants more. Here you go. It's right here, baby. Here you go. You want it? Right here? Right here? Huh? You don't want it? You look like you wanted it. So if you guys ever have trouble getting a credit card, Credit One is usually the way to go. They're usually pretty forgiving on their credit requirements. They do charge an annual fee though, $39 off the keyboard. You keep changing my OBS settings. You freaking weirdo. Hi. No, don't do that. Come on. You freaking cat. No. Bigger alphabet. I appreciate it. Thank you, Colin. A lot of the issues is my fault. I'm not doing enough work that I need to be doing, and hopefully this this crap the doctor gave me will get rid of this cough. And got to get back in shape. I got to figure out how to get that shed done. Even just a crude roof, something to allow me to at least put the exercise bike out there so I can, start, exercising a little bit, getting fit. Got to get off my lazy ass and get shit done. I've started to. I actually cleaned up my bedroom yesterday. It is nice having a relatively clean bedroom. Folded all my clothes, got them all put in the drawers, and finally was able to vacuum the floor. That was nice. Although somehow some of these goddamn stickers got missed by the vacuum. I don't know how, but some of them evaded the vacuum cleaner. So I gotta hit it again. I got 2 new vacuums to try out. I got a Shark Navigator and another Sanitaire Commercial. So I'm gonna try both of them off the review thing. I know Sharks are a popular brand, so I grabbed that. But I'm hoping this week to have the bidet installed in my bathroom. I'm hoping to get that done. I figured the original idea was to use a hot water tank and then just a handheld bidet sprayer and do it, manually. I'm still going to use the hot water tank, even though the bidet seat. You do like it? Good. Even though the bidet seat is able to heat the water, I don't want to use it to heat the water because I figure a $70 2.5 gallon hot water tank is cheaper to replace than a $500 bidet seat when I burn out the hot water heater because of the hard water. So I'm going to feed it hot water from the 2.5 gallon hot water tank. And this way I don't have to use the heating element inside the bidet. And hopefully it'll last a lot longer. That figure maybe, once a year, I'll fill the hot water tank with vinegar and white vinegar, and just run that through the hot water tank and the bidet to clean out the scaling. Oh, I've got one sitting right out front, so I'm going to unpack that today or tomorrow. We'll see how good it works. But it's good to know that you like it. Hi, kitty kitty. I guess you didn't like the dog treat, huh? Do you have a descaler? No, what's a descaler? Descaler. Okay, this isn't lime buildup. This is calcium carbonate buildup. So that might get rid of lime buildup, but it won't get rid of the calcium deposits from the hard water. Because I noticed when I went to the store and got lime away, it wasn't very effective. But when I actually got the stuff that was for calcium in hard water, it worked very well. Baby mask from Brazil? What's that? I think I know what Brazil is. Oh, geez. You talking about that? That's one scary looking critter. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Nothing on Thingiverse. I find resin models that you can buy, but I haven't seen any STL files you can download. I mean, in fact, let me look them up because I still haven't gotten anything from them, and I was supposed to. Hi. Send them another message. Yeah, that is right here. Well, that's that big long benchy. The problem I had with this, as you can see, is these layer shifts. And that's because I don't have the roller attachment to support the end of the benchy as it comes off the bed. So I get those there. You can see it's all good here because this part is all still on the bed. And then once it leaves the bed, you start getting these. You get them here, you got them here. And that's because I don't have the roller to keep this level as it comes off the bed. So it gets bent down a little bit, which causes a crash. But otherwise, yeah, it printed good. And I got a 1.2 millimeter nozzle for the CR30. So I'll be getting that going again. I had to wait 2 months to get the nozzle shipped from AliExpress. That took forever. So that took forever to get those nozzles, but now that I have the nozzles, I want to get that going again. Where did who go? Run, kitty, run. Just don't leave the door open. I don't think so. I think lime and calcium are different. Because some of them list both lime and calcium as things they work on. Let's find out. Okay, so lime is produced by heating limestone to change the mineral into calcium oxide. Calcium carbonate is produced by pulverizing high-grade calcium minerals. So they are different. They have similar sources. They come from the same source line of chemical processes, but they are different. So lime is calcium oxide, and then the material that drops out of my water is calcium carbonate. So I get both. Nice. Anybody who takes some scammers to town is good people in my book. Thank you, Ortego. You have a great day. We're going to be ending soon anyways. I got to run to the bank. They're getting ready to finish up for today. They have to come back tomorrow because the one of the couplers was bad and they don't have an extra one, so they got to go back to Albuquerque and get that piece. So they'll probably be back tomorrow to finish it. So I got to go to the bank and get them some money. I'm going to give them half the remainder now and then half the remainder when they finish. I just sent a message to BuyQ, ask them what's going on with the printer, if they, if they've got a tracking number or something like that. So we will see what they say. I guess we will, unless you guys have more questions, I guess we'll call it for today. Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask? It's amazing when I move the oh, it's actually required. You're not allowed in the bank without a mask. I thought that was so funny. Especially around here, most people wear bandanas, so it looks like the classic Wild West, robber. And you're not allowed in the bank without a mask. It's so funny. Yeah, cat's hiding now. Well, the only one that's supposed to be on the way, and it's not here yet, so I don't know what's going on with it. It's supposed to be the BuyQB1. Haven't got it though, so I don't know. I just sent them a message to ask them what's going on with that. And then we got the Kaiwu we're gonna do, and then we also have a Soval SV2 that we're gonna go over in a couple weeks. And then I got some used printers that I got that you guys haven't seen. I got some printer bot printers and stuff like that. That's funny. I have one of those. I have a Hicktop Prusiclode. It was one when I bought all of the Ender 2s. One of the printers that would arrive was one of those. It looks like a cheap clone, and it's brand new in a box. They told me to keep it, and so yeah, we could. I gotta find that because we could build that too one day. Oh no, this one's all aluminum. But I do know it's from a company called Hicktop, Hictop. I want to try clicking this button again And you guys tell me if anything happens on your end. Actually, I can see it here too, because I am watching this.
YouTube on the phone.
Let's mute the audio.
There we go. Let's mute the audio.
Lower the audio. Okay. Now, I'm going to click this again, and you guys tell me if anything happens on your end. Yeah, for real, the wood does cost more than metal. It says add inserted. But nothing happened on my end here. And nothing happened on here, nothing happened on here. Huh. That is interesting. I wonder why it doesn't do anything. Add stream. Oh, that's... I bet you I know what that does. Add stream marker. Stream marker added. Markers appear in video after your stream is done. Oh, that's cool. So when we mention certain things, I can add a marker to make it... Oh, you can only add one? Oh, no, there it goes. Now, can I add it again? Okay, so there's a minimum time. That's fine. So I can add little markers in the video to make it easier for you guys to find key parts of the video. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know I could do that. And then I have here, create highlight video. I don't know what that does, so I don't want to click it. Oh, that's going to come in handy. That's going to come in very handy. The only problem I have with the folding phones is that they have plastic screens. Because they have to fold, so they can't use glass. And I worry about the longevity of that screen holding up to abuse. Well, it should have inserted an ad. I'm assuming, unless that only inserts an ad on playback? Maybe it doesn't insert an ad in the stream. It inserts it when you play it back. I don't know. Well, let's try it again. I'm going to create a marker. Okay, stream marker added. Let me give it 10 seconds. And then I'm going to click this insert ad button again and see if it actually does something on playback. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, nothing happened on my stream here. So I'm betting it's doing it to the playback. So after it's done processing the stream, it'll insert an ad there. Now that I've created a marker, I'll be able to jump to this spot and see if it actually does something there. That's annoying. Yeah, that's the autofocus getting tricked. So every now and then you see the autofocus do some weird stuff. This camera actually has autofocus. Yeah, that little wobble is the autofocus doing its thing. Because autofocus actually moves one of the lenses, which will actually change the perspective in the video just slightly. Interesting. So yeah, I'm betting that's exactly what that does. I'm betting it inserts the ad during playback. That makes sense. Nasty background with it hard to autofocus. $80 scanner camera you bought? No. That's this. That's a different one. This is a Cyber Acoustics. Yeah, this is a Cyber Acoustics camera. I have two Logitechs, a Cyber Acoustic, and the document camera. Right now, today, we're just using the one camera, the Cyber Acoustics. I use this one because the audio always works with OBS without a problem. I got the new memory cards. So I ordered some Extreme Pro SanDisk cards. These are good quality cards. Come on. There it goes. So I ordered 4 of those, and they all work perfectly in all the cameras. So, because this one is a little slow. It says 80 megabits per second. I don't know if it's a knockoff or not, but it felt a bit slow. So I got... Come on, you autofocus. There it goes. See how the camera seems to move a little bit when it focuses? So I always keep I'll keep a spare one of my chest sling. I have a little sling mag. These are my 100 watt USB-C chargers. So it puts out 100 watts over USB-C. I got 4 of them. So I wear a chest sling, and I keep my my spare batteries and my memory cards and stuff in here. So the outside pouch will usually include the spare memory card and a couple of batteries. I don't usually put a lot in it. You know, usually 1 battery for each camera. So I have spare batteries that I can keep in my little sling pouch here. I wish it was double zip so I can make it open from the top instead of opening from the bottom, but you know, it is what it is. But this works well to allow me to keep all my crap on me without taking up a whole lot of space when I'm on the field. Yeah, it was 32. We knew we figured that out the same day. It was 32 gig limited. Osprey, good stuff. Because we tried a 64 gig card, formatted FAT32, still didn't work. So it needed to be 32 gigs. Do you use those gimbals? I do have a gimbal for a cell phone, but I don't use it. Gimbals don't work for the kind of video content I record, because the kind of video content I record requires me to do this. So I'm shooting a rocket, and the rocket goes, so I have to follow the rocket up in order to shoot the rocket. So gimbals don't usually work for the kind of stuff I record. So yeah, now they're all working with the 32 gig cards, no problem. The only problem that there's always a problem I have with the Casios is that whenever you remove the battery, it resets the date and time. So you have to reset the date and time every time you change the battery. Really annoying. I wish they'd at least have a capacitor in there to give me, 30 seconds to change the battery. But yeah, that blows my mind that I was able to replace those cameras for so cheap. I got this one for like $35. It was $148, but I had like $110 in Amazon points, so I used that to get this. And then these I got for less than 200 each, and they're mint. I mean, this camera is in mint condition. There's not a scratch on it. It's like it's brand new. I didn't think I'd ever be able to replace this camera, because the last time I looked at getting another one of these cameras, it was like $3,000. But now I guess they're old enough that people don't care about those features anymore, and so I was able to get them dirt cheap. Cool. I've seen those before. The Samsungs with the built-in camera on it. It's basically a phone with a built-in camera on it. Motorola did that with a backpack unit. So the Motorola Z2, you can get little backpacks to attach to it, and they have a Hasselblad camera backpack. But Samsung did a fully integrated one, where it was actually a camera just permanently built into the back of the phone. 10 times zoom. I could probably find a picture of it. You couldn't make calls on it? That's weird. The one I remember, here it is. The one I remember, I thought you could make calls with it. This unit right here. Does it look like that? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it's based on the S4. And it was an actual phone, and you could take pictures with it, of course, but I guess they have versions that are just cameras and not phones. That's all right, Maker Viking. Nice. It looks like they're selling for about $750. As low as $549 on eBay. Yeah, you can get one for $550 on eBay. 3.5 to 5.6, 16 to 15 millimeter. Is that a replaceable lens? Is that like a micro 4/3? Like, can you remove the lens on that? It looks like you can. I'm trying to get the Casio EX100, I think it's called, but it goes for so much money. Oof. It's the newest Casio before they close down their camera division that has the high speed functionality. So I'm hoping it'll have a faster sensor. Okay, here's one for 350, 400, 450, 500, almost 600. Yeah, mirrorless. So this is probably a 4/3 mirrorless camera. And you can get different lenses for it. Yep, okay. Why is this taking forever? Come on. Looks like I can get one as low as 360. With the 1650 lens. So yeah, it seems pretty affordable. That looks like the best deal on eBay right now. $329 plus $29 shipping. The big thing for me with the Casios is the precognition, the pre-shot. to be able to shoot frames before you actually initiate the buffer run, because that allows you to capture those stupidly fast rockets. Like, yeah, it's like when people put an E30 in a minimum diameter rocket. We call them neck snappers or teleporters, because the rocket does not lift off and travel up into the sky. It creates an Einstein-Heisenberg bridge right there above the rocket. It just goes, it vanishes, and then when it runs out of energy, it leaves the wormhole up here somewhere in the sky. It appears there. The battery doesn't need to be replaced. The fire alarm needs to be taken down. I'm actually going to ask one of them if they can do that for me, because they might be able to. One of them is light enough to step on the bed and pull it down. I have 2 fire alarms in that room because I can't reach the old fire alarm, and I have too much stuff on that shelf to move the shelf out of the way to reach it, and there's not enough space in between the bed and the shelving unit to put a step stool to allow me to get even that 1 step up to be able to reach that fire alarm. So I already put a replacement fire alarm in the room, but I can't get to the old one. I tried using my claw to grab it, but I can't get enough of a grip on it to turn it and unlock it from the mount. And so I'll actually just ask one of them, because they could just stand on top of the bed and just grab it. But I can't stand on top of the bed. If I stand on top of the bed, I'm going to break it. You know, I'm like 460 pounds. You might as well call me 500 pounds. If I stand on top of the bed, I'm probably going to break the bed. I'm probably going to break me as I fall off, as the bed collapses. So I can't do that. I'm tall, so when there was no shelving unit there, I just reached up and put it as high as I could. And now that the shelving unit is there, I'm pushed back, and now I can't reach where the fire alarm is. I don't want to break it and damage the damn ceiling, because then I got to fix it. So I've already got a new fire alarm in there. I got a new 10-year smoke and carbon monoxide detector in there. I because of the review site, I got a whole bunch of them for free. I got like 10 of them. So every room in the house has one. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go run to the bank, get the money for them. We agreed on half and half. Oh, I don't even hear it. We agreed on half and half because I don't like paying in full until the job's done. So I'm going to give them $900 now and then $900 when they finish. I already paid the $2,500, you know, to get the unit and whatnot. And, well, the problem is to design a tool would require me to have the fire alarm in my hand, and I don't have another one like that one. They're all different. And, well, the new way I'm setting up the room won't be a problem. I'm going to have shelving units going around the entire room and no beds. And then I'm going to just use an inflatable bed if I have guests, because I got a real nice Intex 22-inch tall queen size inflatable bed off the review site for free. And so then we'll just pull that out whenever we have guests. And this way I can set up a step stool and do whatever I need to do. I also need to get Michelle's ceiling fan installed, because we're about to get into the warm season. Although with the mini splits, that's not as big a deal. But the go from there, you know, see what happens. But all right, I will see you guys next week. We should be doing the Kaiwu Typhoon or whatever it's called. That looks like the Yak, or the looks like the what's the U.S. company that makes the Taz printers? It looks like the Taz. So we'll be doing that. We should be doing that next week. We'll go from there. I will see you guys later. Let me double check, make sure I don't have to give anybody any shout outs, since I like to make sure people get recognition. Keep my victims happy. Really? I gotta do the security challenge again. And I gotta pick the pictures again. Taxi, taxi, taxi. Go away. Annoying pain in my ass. That's it. So again, shout out to Colin and DeWitt 3D for your donations. Thank you very much. Toilet plunger would work if I was this way, but not this way. That's actually not a bad idea. A little hot glue on the end of a broomstick, touch it for 15 seconds, then click and pop it off. That would actually freaking work, I bet. Jan Wiersma, that's a great idea. That's a genuinely good. That would work too. Just gotta find my glue gun. Hell, even some duct tape on the end of the broomstick might work. You know, if I wrap enough duct tape on it, that might be enough sticky to. Good idea. Alrighty, I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much for joining in. I appreciate it. Don't forget to check out those links below. If you haven't signed up for Fetch yet, until Thursday, I get $3 for every person who signs up. It's basically an app where you get points for scanning your grocery receipts, and you make a little bit of cash. You're not going to get rich off of it, but you could feasibly make 10 or 20 bucks every 2 months, and go from there. I will see you guys later.